I am happy to welcome to the Airwaves Andrew Couch. Good morning, Andrew.
Hi.
Hi. Well, thanks for coming in. So your company is called Sound Legacy.
It is.
And I was just wasting time perusing, doom scrolling on the internet when on Instagram I came across a familiar face.
Yeah.
It was Jeff Wilkinson.
People are not mean-hearted. People want to give. They want to listen. They want to participate. They want to be nice. They want it to be nice. They want it to be good.
The greatest eyebrows in all of West Marin.
He takes great pride in his eyebrows.
They are amazing.
And so he was hanging out in front of Toby's, as he is apt to do. It's a place to go. And you ran across him, and tell me what unfolded and how that little piece became a reality.
Yeah. Well, you take one look at Jeff, and you're like, well, there's a character I need to know immediately. And thankfully, he's the kind of guy who's up for that sort of thing. We just said,
yeah.
hey, do you mind? I didn't even get a chance to buy him a coffee. I was like, hey, will you just sit down and talk to us? He's like, yeah, of course. So this is my partner over here, Paul Shelton, is filming all the time. So he filmed this conversation between the two of us. And, it's part of what we're trying to do is help people tell their story. And
he's got a good story.
Boy, he's got great stories. And it was, he was not expecting it and then was just on. Went from like, I'm just going to have a cup of coffee to I'm going to
tell you my story. A lot of stories. Yeah. And he has a couple shows here on KWMR. Jeff Wilkinson, he's a favorite. He does Cruising on Mondays, and then he does Saturday Night Function on Saturday night. Yeah. So Jeff Wilkinson is not the only person. Tell us what Sound Legacy is and what you're doing with that, and so our listeners can understand.
Sure. Well, thank you for giving us the opportunity to do it. Yeah, we're an audio-video production company with a focus on family stories. We want to help people, obviously preserve a legacy or a story for future generations, but we also really want to make that person feel seen and heard and like appreciated and cared about. So we do anything from like a podcast-style interview to a full-on documentary film about your life, your family history, or a particular moment in your life. We've got a new client who's coming up. We're telling the story of his around-the-world journey back in the 70s. He and 14 other people bought this boat in Grenada that had been stolen, and just this incredible, journey, and none of them were sailors. And they made it. It took them 3 years to get around the world.
Wow.
But they made it. And he's got this amazing
And now he's a good
footage.
sailor.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing now. But, we digitized, 5,000 feet of Super 8 footage. We've got all this great, slide reels and all this type of stuff to sort of help tell his story visually. We do an interview with him and film it and kind of make a really nice film.
Well, that brings up a good point because, we had friends come together, 8 of us, who all knew each other different ways and sort of came together for this fun weekend. And I pulled out my photo albums. Mm-hmm. And it made me think, we live in this time where things are pretty ephemeral. Think about the fires in Santa Rosa and Sonoma County and Los Angeles. And those things could just be gone. So it's good to try to digitize those things and keep them in a cloud somewhere.
Yeah.
Hopefully they would be saved for future generations.
That's the idea. And more than just losing the stuff, which is horrible. Anytime somebody dies, you lose their voice if you don't have a recording of it. And that's what got me into this. My father passed away, 23 years ago. And I, had gear. I could have recorded him. Even had the notion to do it, but didn't. And, that's why our thing, your story, your voice.
Well, people save voicemails on their phones for that exact reason because it's the last time that person called them and left them a message or something like that.
That's another thing we'll do. We'll take, people will send us those voicemails and we kind of clean up the audio and we'll preserve it in a way we can either put it to music or just save it so it's not just on your phone. Because, you lose your phone, you get an update, God knows what happens, and you can lose that stuff.
I know, I'm constantly backing things up because I make so much audio myself.
You do.
So, this is a business.
It is a business.
It's a pretty new venture.
Very new. Yeah, so I started it something in the vein about a year or so ago, and I've been kind of struggling with it, figuring out how it's going to work. I was just focused on doing audio. And this past summer, I went to a party, which I don't normally do, and happened to meet a gentleman there who was doing the exact same business in Texas, but with a video focus. and that was this gentleman right here, my business partner, Paul Shelton.
Nice.
And so we kind of talked about things, and he ended up moving out here to help me do this. And so we've
combined forces, Wonder Twin powers activate.
That's indeed. Yeah. So that's it. We moved into an office in January, and we just hit the ground running.
And how are you promoting it other than coming on the radio, talking to Jeff Wilkinson? Like, what are your other ways?
Yeah.
And how can people get a hold of you if
Sure.
they're interested in this, in doing a project themselves?
If you're looking for a reprieve from your doom scrolling, at My Sound Legacy on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We actually just posted someone from San Anselmo telling the story of her nursing career, and it's gone viral. I mean, it's like 300,000 views and thousands.
Good for you.
Good for her. I mean, she's such an amazing story. But so that's part of it. A lot of word of mouth. People are just telling people that they like what we've done. I mean, my partner has a great way of telling a story visually that's just compelling and gets you in the heart. So it's word of mouth, social media. We've not bought a single ad yet. We got to work on that. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we're still new. I mean, I can still smell the paint.
Yeah, I've got that new business smell.
We do.
Yeah. So, what types of pricing is this? Just to give people, if they're listening and they're thinking, "Oh, Aunt Marge."
Yeah. So we've got a variety of things. I mean, you can do anything from we've got like a virtual thing where we'll do it online, sort of like a Zoom. We use a different technology than Zoom, but it's the same idea. That's $700. That's for like an hour-long production. And there's, time ahead of time where we get your story, like the general facts of your story. So I have a roadmap for an interview. I think you know all about doing that.
Yeah, my notes. Yeah. I'm a little on the seat of the pants kind of person.
I appreciate it. I'm fighting that urge myself. But so that's $700. That's we do an in-person audio only, sort of a podcast style interview. It's $1,000 for us to travel anywhere in the Bay Area to your home. I mean, we'll travel further, but obviously the price isn't.
The price would go up because of the travel costs. Now, are other people, I mean, you found Paul doing this in Texas and you've joined forces. Yeah. Are you seeing that this is something that is proliferating around the world?
It is. There's sort of something in the air. There are lots of different kinds of businesses that do this. People will produce a book for you. People will do, various things that sort of get at this idea of saving a story, saving a legacy. I mean, I could tell you 1,000 different ways why we're the one. Yeah. But there's I think there's something in the air. There's a reason people are doing this. Well,
storytelling is so important.
It's crucial.
And I mean, just like those things they do on Friday on KQED where they have the people talking to each other. I can't remember the name of it. But, I mean, it's always, people love the human stuff. And we know that when you tell an authentic story, you get people's attention.
Yeah.
Because people care about other people, regardless of what we might think.
Yeah.
When our doom scrolling.
Right. Well, I mean, the funny thing is about a story is if you're compelled to it or drawn to it, you're seeing in some way yourself or something that you've known in your life. Or
something you want to aspire to because you're inspired by somebody who you sort of, I mean, this ageism is real.
It's real.
And then we these people are just old people. They're just going to the senior thing. And then you start talking to somebody and you hear that they were like a fantastic slalom skier, or just jumped out of 1,000 airplanes or,
or that they still do something incredible.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, I think that's one thing that I appreciate is sort of the celebration and not sort of like, okay, go sit on a shelf, old person.
Right. Yeah. The unhoused and the elderly are often the most invisible in our culture. And it's a shame because that's, I mean, there's the vulnerability, there's the wisdom, there's all these things that are worth giving time. And
there's some storytelling projects that we've worked with senior services, and those stories are just, they're really compelling. They're super great. Yeah. Well, give out the information on how people can get a hold of you if they're interested in learning more and talking to you one-on-one.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, again, the everybody seems to be on their phones. If that's their way of getting in touch with somebody, at My Sound Legacy on all the socials.
That's how I got a hold of you.
Yeah. Or you can go to our website. We have a really, what I think is a nice website. We worked hard on it. It's mysoundlegacy.com. And that basically there's no real commerce to do on the website. You got to talk to a person, and it's going to be me. So you can get in touch with me through the website. There's a whole contact thing, and we'll have a
I
consultation.
filled out the little form, and you called me on the phone. We had a great conversation.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Everyone who knows me makes fun of me because I'm not a on the phone kind of person, and they're like, "You've made a whole business about being on the phone. Why'd you do this to yourself?"
Well, no, I thought it was good that you did that because I'm more of like, oh, it's just easier to email. But, I think it's good. I think the talking on, I still do not like talking on a cell phone.
It's not my favorite.
I want like a handheld thing with a cord still. I'm just kind of like that.
Let's bring it back.
Well, Andrew Couch, thank you for coming in to KWMR today, and look forward to learning more
Thanks
and
so much
seeing
for
more
having
of
me.
the work that you're producing. And you put the stuff up on a lot of the stuff with permission, obviously, of the folks, is available for people to view on the website.
Absolutely. On the website, on the socials, and it's always with permission. There's a bunch that we can't put up because it's obviously, it's your family story. But with permission, we share a lot of it.
All right. Well, that is awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time out today to join me on The Lowdown.
Thanks for having me.